Let's take a look at what types of shapes we see right here in these histograms that we created earlier. Looks like this one is skewed to the, maybe skewed to the right because it peaks at the left end and trails off, because this bar down here is shorter than these two bars over here. So it might be a little bit of a positive skewness. This one over here looks like a positive skewness also because it peaks at the left end and it trails off toward the right with shorter bars down here. This one right here doesn't look like it really has much of a skewness. It's more bimodal. And I'm thinking that all of these probably have more of a negative kurtosis because they all look pretty flattened out. We don't really have any tall bars that really stand out in any of these histograms. So let's calculate the skewness and kurtosis values to see what they come out to. We can calculate them with Excel. We just have to go back to this spreadsheet right here. Remember, I calculated the mean, median, and mode, and the measures of dispersion. I can also calculate skewness and kurtosis values for all of the quantitative columns. The qualitative columns don't have skewness and kurtosis. So what I can do here is I can type in equals skew, type in SKEW, then I highlight the age column, I close the parentheses, and I get the skewness of the age column, and it's 1.15, which is a positive skewness. I predicted it would be a positive skewness because find it again. Oh, because the age column, the data peaks at the left end and it trails off to the right. So this data right here for age had a skewness value of 1.15. So since the shape had a positive skewness, the skewness value came out to a positive number. We can also find the skewness value for number of units. It's also a positive number, which means that the number of units column has a positive skewness. Let's look back to see what the data looks like. I said that number of units looks like it has a positive skewness because it trails off toward the right end. What about number of children? I said that it looks like number of children doesn't really have a skewness. So I'm thinking that the skewness value should come out close to 0 for number of children. Right, so it actually does have a skewness value of 0. It has no skewness at all. And what about kurtosis? I said that all three of those histograms were pretty flattened out, so I was thinking that they would all have more of a negative kurtosis. So let's see if these kurtosis values come out to negative numbers. I type in equals KURT for kurtosis. So it's actually, well, it's close to 0. It's actually slightly positive for the age column. Number of units actually has a high positive kurtosis, and number of children has a pretty low negative kurtosis. So this is actually a pretty dramatic positive kurtosis, and this is actually pretty dramatic negative kurtosis. So let me look back at those two histograms to double check their shapes. So number of units positive, number of children negative. Number of units. Well, number of children does look kind of flattened out, so that's why it has that value of -3 for kurtosis. And Um, it says that number of units has a positive kurtosis of +2, and it's hard for me to really imagine why, but I guess um, maybe it's because it goes down here to 0 and then goes up pretty suddenly, so it has kind of a sudden peak right here. That's maybe why it has that positive kurtosis of +2. Remember, this was a kurtosis of -3, and this was a kurtosis of +2.